Let's talk about your self-esteem and why this is important. Anybody here know who John Assaraf is? Okay. I hung out with... John was a member of Lisa's mastermind. I got to hang out with him a few times. And I think he probably said it better than anybody else on the planet when he said, you can never outperform your own level of self-esteem or self-worth. Okay, you see this dramatically illustrated all the time in people who win the lottery. Right? They win $1 million or $5 million or even $20 million. 10 years later, they're broke. Why? Because the cash that came in didn't match the internal representation they had of themselves on the inside. Unless we can get that shifted, you will only rise to a certain level in your life. The moment we can begin to shift how you view yourself and your own sense of self-worth, everything around you must change. Your unconscious mind is the single biggest goal-achieving mechanism on the planet. But it can only seek to create on the outside what is on the inside. Now, you have beliefs, which are cool. But you have two sets of beliefs. Just like you have two prices of admission for everything, you have two sets of beliefs. Beliefs you know about, and beliefs that you don't. And it's the beliefs you don't know about that more often than not will undermine your success. Okay, now we have some very specific protocols. We probably won't get too deep into those tonight. I will tell you about them. I may have to demo one of them or something, but there's some very specific processes that we're going to use to start taking out the trash, as I like to call it. That's the success formula. You see, most people go through life with the equivalent of a jet engine and an anchor strapped to their back. And it's the difference between the drag from the anchor and the thrust from the jet engine that determines how far you get, how fast. Most people just try to put more fuel in the engine and hope it gets them where they want to go. Well, the problem is the more thrust you put in the engine, the more drag you create on the anchor. That's just physics. You'll find a lot of my stuff is based on how the physical universe operates. Because you can't go wrong with physics. It's just kind of there. Right? Metaphysics is really as above, so below. You'll find there's a lot of parallels that you can draw about how the mind actually works that are consistent and will work for you. So the first thing we want to do in terms of getting what first of all, we want to know what we want, don't we? Right? We want to have a very clear picture, a very clear feeling of what it is we want to attract into our life. Now, here's the thing. Avoid getting hyper-specific. And when I talk about hyper-specific, I'm mostly concerned about how that particular event is supposed to manifest and how long. See, we calibrate things in terms of success or failure, but the primary way that we determine whether something is successful or a failure is based on the amount of time it takes to achieve it. If we set an arbitrary time frame and we don't achieve what we want in that set amount of time, we automatically qualify it as a failure. But if we remove the time constraint on it, and we work with our unconscious dynamics, which we'll talk a little bit about, the unconscious mind will make it happen at the appropriate time. And you won't have to deal with failure. It's just a question of it hasn't happened yet. And that is a very encouraging thing for us. We tend to get really discouraged the minute we miss a deadline. Okay? I know some of this flies in the face of other systems you may have been taught. That's okay. Take this stuff, go out, use it, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, chuck it.